everyone. Let's do this beautiful snowflake here in real time, and you'll see how simple it is to actually create. First, we're going to outline the cookie, and in real time, that takes a little bit of time. It's got lots of little edges on the snowflake, and I acknowledge every little kind of edge here. I think it just makes it stand out more, and because I'm filming, I try to keep my hand out of the way. Excuse me. So I do have a story for you guys once we get onto the flooding. For now, so we're going to outline this and then flood it, and then we'll get to the decorating part. I wanted to talk a little bit about my business. I started it in 2015, and I didn't start it as a business. I started it because I wanted to learn how to get that smooth layer onto a cookie, that smooth layer of frosting called flooding. And this is the first cookie I ever flooded, and I wrote my daughter's name on it as well. I had found making that initial cookie was so much fun that I just continued making cookies, flooding them, thinking of reasons to make cookies for people. I would ship cookies to friends and family. I would give cookies away to friends and family. I was just making cookies for everyone I could think of. It was great. It was so much fun. I was learning new skills and learning just new things, and it was such a fun time. But it didn't stop there. Within 4 months, I had more work than I could do by myself. I was so busy with cookie making, and even people had asked me to make cakes, so I jumped on board with that as well and learned how to do that. I was making cookies 24/7. My business was booming. And fast forward a few years to 2018, I was a thriving 49-year-old female business owner. I was so proud of myself, more proud than when I graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Nursing. This was huge for me. I had been successful and was continuing to be successful. My son had just finished his sophomore year of high school, and he and I had promised to hike more this summer. So we didn't waste any time. We got to hiking right when he got out of school. I think that first week we probably went 4 times. And it wasn't until that 4th hike that I struggled. We started out a slow incline, and we were about 3/4 of a mile into the hike, and I had to stop to catch my breath. It seemed like every 25 feet. It was probably further than that, but I was really struggling. I felt like I was suffocating, drowning, and he was very worried. I was very worried. So we called it, we turned around, went back to the car, and drove home. Upon arriving home, my husband and I decided I should go to urgent care. Breathing for me has never been an issue. I've always been in really good shape, fit, don't have any underlying diseases. We went to urgent care, and before I could even blink, I was in an ambulance and on my way to the hospital. The paramedics explained to me that I had 5 blood clots in my lungs. They used the analogy of an earthquake, saying that if the ambulance moved too much or I jolted too much, that one of the blood clots could come loose. Now, I don't know if they were just being extra cautious. These blood clots had already gone through my heart and into my lungs. My heart was enlarged. Side note, my phone was on cinematic when it was recording this video for some of the snowflake recordings, so it gets blurry, like when my hand is there, and it goes in and out of being blurry, so I know that's really annoying, but it's just for these 2 of these videos on here, so it won't be that way anymore, I promise. So back to the blood clots. So I was in the hospital for 4 days, had to cancel all of my baking orders. And the doctors had pretty much not promised, or guaranteed, because they can't do that, but told me that within a month I would be hiking again. And so I was excited about that. I didn't feel like this was a huge setback. I did have several new doctors now in my repertoire of seeing doctors. I had a hematologist who had to do a lot of different types of workups because these clots were completely unprovoked. I had not had a surgery. I had not been on a long car ride or plane ride. There was no reason for me to have 5 blood clots in my lungs at all. So after months and months of testing, they came back kind of inconclusive about antiphospholipid syndrome. It basically just came back inconclusive to why I had the blood clots. And so I take a blood thinner now, and I will for the rest of my life, which can put a wrench into other things in your life by taking a blood thinner all the time. But it's not a bad trade-off to have a normal life, mostly normal life, to not have any more blood clots, because they have told me that I probably won't survive another blood clot. So that was in 2018, and my business took some crazy turns after that for other health-related things, and we'll get into that in another story time. But yeah, so I bounced back from that pretty well, and my business bounced back, and I was not able to hike anymore after that ever again. I did have some residual lung damage, ended up having to have 4 lung surgeries in another state, and that didn't happen for 2 years from the clots, and then we had COVID, and it was a fun time in life. It was definitely a difficult time to be trying to travel across the country and have these operations and find a place to stay and be safe and just all of this crazy stuff. And and then you've got the expense of it all too, and taking off from my baking business. So there's all of that on top of it. So it was definitely some interesting times in there, and but I wanted to talk about my baking business, and I wanted to talk about the blood clots because I think it's really important for people to know and understand that this can happen to anybody. Like, I was, like I said, in very good shape, healthy, had no comorbidities, no reason for this to happen. And I think if we have a better understanding that health crises can happen to anyone, then it can really help us understand when that does happen to us or a family member or somebody close to us. And I'll see it's going blurry. See it go blurry? It's so annoying. It makes you just want to turn it off, basically. I should have redone it, but I didn't. So I do want to talk a little bit about light boxes. I have been doing this since 2015, so almost 10 years, and I have never purchased a light box. Mainly because I do cakes and cookies and cake pops and things of all different sizes. I didn't want a light box or multiple light boxes in different sizes. And I guess I'm just too cheap to buy one for cakes because they're expensive when you get bigger ones. So I bit the bullet and bought a small little square cake box for the cookies. And you'll see the picture here at the end. I put one at the beginning as well of what it looks like in the light box, and it's so pretty. The pictures you can create, and that's in the light box, and then this is in the light box. It just looks flawless, I think. It's beautiful. So thank you for watching and sticking with me. Bye.